Hello, everyone. This is Mike from ASA Wins back for another installment of our NFL Notes. In case you missed it, we've got some information on a few NFL teams that has caught our eye. And if you want to read the entire report, we'll just talk about a couple on this video. If you want to read our entire report, head to www.asawins.com and check it out there. We've started the season red hot in football. We've released 27 rated plays this year and won 20 of them. That's right, 20-7 is our current record. We're 14-3 in college, 6-4 in the NFL. We've won all of our college top games, and we are looking for another huge weekend coming up this weekend. 12-2 on rated plays the last 2 weekends, college and pro combined. If you're interested in joining us, check out our website, asawins.com. Got a special October package, $295 for our entire month of October. It's normally $295 for 4 weeks. You get 5 weeks in October. There's full 5 weekends, so 5 weekends for the price of 4, $295. Head to asawins.com to check that out. First, before we get to our 2 teams we want to discuss quickly this week, let's talk about turnovers in the NFL. We talked about them last week and how big they are when it comes to covering the spread. Teams that win the turnover battle cover the spread more than 80% of the time. Historically, that's just the way it works. This year, it's even more than 80% of the time. In fact, just this last weekend, teams that won the turnover battle were 10-1 against the spread. Teams for the season that have won the turnover battle are 32-4 against the spread if they win the turnover margin for their game. 32-4 against the spread. That's pushing 90%. So again, it's an after-the-fact stat that it's hard to predict, but still, turnover is extremely important on who covers in the NFL. First team we're going to talk about is the Chicago Bears and their putrid offense last weekend. They went to Cleveland and totaled 47 yards for the entire game on 42 offensive snaps. That's barely 1 yard per game. To put how bad that is in perspective, their 1.1 yards per play against Cleveland was the second lowest of any team in a game in the last century. That's how bad it was. Bear fans have been clamoring for Justin Fields. Get rid of Andy Dalton. Let's see Justin Fields. Well, you know what? Justin Fields has now played a game and a half right in that area. He came in for Andy Dalton against Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. He has led the offense on 80 offensive snaps, gained 122 total yards for 1.5 yards per play, 0 offensive touchdowns. He's been sacked 11 times and 51 dropbacks. That's almost 22%. And he's a mobile quarterback. He has not performed well. And of course, his offensive line isn't giving him any help. As we mentioned, almost 22% sack rate when he's been in there. For the season, they ranked 29th at 15% sack rate allowed, which is not good. Chicago, offensive line not good. Defense, not as good as they have been. New quarterback who's struggling, hasn't scored an offensive touchdown. This team's in a little bit of trouble heading forward, and now they're favored at home next weekend against Detroit. They were originally favored by 6 prior to last week's games, and now it's down to 3. So people are on Detroit in that game. It's gotten all the way down to 3. We'll see what happens in that game. And one more team I want to talk about, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their offense isn't good either, and their defense, unfortunately, looks like it might be headed in the wrong direction. Offensively, this team was last in the NFL in rushing last year, so they drafted Najee Harris out of Alabama in the first round to help their rushing attack. Well, they're last in rushing again this year. 53 yards per game on the ground, and that means Big Ben's got to throw the ball, which is not conducive for that offense when Big Ben, getting older, not very mobile, injury prone, not a good situation. He threw it 58 times last week against Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's not going to win games with Big Ben throwing it 58 times, and he's going to be injured and out fairly quickly if he continues to throw it that many times. The defense last week did not have a sack in the game. They led the NFL in sacks last year. TJ Watt is out, which doesn't help, but they did not have a sack against Joe Burrow, and he did not get hit in the game. Joe Burrow did not get hit. And that's a Cincinnati offensive line. They gave up 10 sacks the previous 2 games. So Pittsburgh's defense, middle of the pack overall right now on a yards per play basis, not getting great pressure on the quarterback. If their defense turns average, this team is in big trouble because their defense needs to be great for this team to have a chance. And right now, they don't look like they will be. They're very good as a road underdog. They do travel to Green Bay as a 6.5 to 7 point underdog. They're very good historically, but this team is on a downward trend. Again, go to our website, www.asawins.com, to check out our full report on all the teams that we have thoughts on for this week. And take a look at our October package, $295 for 5 weekends. It's normally 4 weekends for that price, and we're red hot, 20-7 overall in college and NFL combined. Again, until next week, this is Mike from ASA Wins. Have a great week, everyone.